Everyone, hello, thank you for coming. A bit of an interesting one tonight. We were doing the live workshop in here, but we're doing a webinar at the same time, so we thought some people couldn't make it. Maybe they live a bit further away or they're busy. So hello to everyone logged in online. Hopefully you can hear and see everything all right. But yeah, we're trying to capture it so more people get to find out about what's going on with the rebate. So my name's Luke. I'm the director here of Lightning Energy. We've been here for nearly a year now, so doing a lot with solar and battery, electrification, aircon, hot water, everything you guys need to electrify your whole house, we pretty much offer it. So it's our mission here to electrify Melbourne and eventually expand and help everyone electrify Australia. Even if we just do that through educating people around Australia and then other companies or whatever do it, Sydney or Melbourne if we're not operating there right now. We have in the past, but yeah, we're just focusing on Melbourne. So what we're here to talk about is the federal battery rebate. Now, today I'm going to go over a few things that you need to know when you're looking to buy a battery, and then I'm going to get someone from Tesla to talk about the Tesla Powerwall, and I'm going to get someone to talk about SolarEdge as well. So we've got Feroz and we've got Doug coming from SolarEdge. Feroz from Tesla, Doug from SolarEdge. So, let's see. That's good, it's good. Okay. So, the Cheaper Homes Battery Program. The Cheaper Home Batteries Program. Now, this was spearheaded by this guy here, Chris Bowen. Good guy, they used it as their election promise to get in. It seems like people in Australia really value home batteries. I think that was one of the things. There's a lot of things, but anyway, they won the election. We won't get into that. And now they've got $2.3 billion, which they're going to be giving towards you guys to install a battery in your house. So roughly, it's going to be 30% of the cost of a battery, roughly, is what they say. And it's could be $5,000 or $6,000 per house, maybe bigger. So I actually did the sums. I don't think it's going to last 5 years, $2.3 billion. I reckon they're going to chew through the $2.3 billion a lot sooner than that. So it's better to get in early before they run out of money. Yeah, if you divide 2.3 by, I think, 6,000, you get about 350,000 houses, and they reckon they're going to do 1 million. So I don't know how they worked out their sums, maybe different to me, but yeah. We'll have to get on that one soon. So yeah, aiming to get 1 million batteries. I think it's less after the first year, it does reduce. So yeah, by 2030. But yeah, we're going to get in early and we're going to get a lot of batteries. So why would you want to do this? Obviously, we want to cut energy bills. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to reduce the pressure on the grid because everyone's feeding solar back to the grid in the middle of the day and it's gotten too much. They just don't want it anymore. So we want to harness that energy in a battery and store it for night when we need it. Obviously, this is going to ease the cost of living for you guys, and if we can stabilise the grid, then it's going to ease the cost of living for everyone, even those people that don't necessarily have a battery. And this scheme is going to support jobs. People like us, we've got about 30 employees or so, so there's a lot of other companies like us, a lot of young people, a lot of young apprentices in the industry. Electrical engineers come in, and yeah, there's a lot of people, even administration. So it is going to be really good to support jobs in Australia. So how much is the battery? So how much is the rebate? That's what everyone wants to know. We're looking at about $350 a kilowatt. So it just depends on fees. We're waiting on a confirmation on what fees are because there is some companies where you trade the STCs with and they take a bit of a clip before it gets to us. So unfortunately, we don't always get the full whack. So it's going to be about $350 per kilowatt. So if you get a 10 kilowatt hour battery, then you're looking at $3,500. If you get a 13.5, you're looking at about 4,700. So that would be something like a Tesla. Anything, you can claim anything up to 50 kilowatt hours. So you get about $18,000 on a 50 kilowatt hour. Technically, you can install a 100 kilowatt hour battery and still claim the rebate, but only on the first 50. So it's a bit weird how they do that. If you were looking at a commercial installation and you wanted to go 150, I guess you could install 100 kilowatts and then come back a week later and add more. I don't know. Well, we're not up to that stage yet, but yeah, for now, anything up to 50 kilowatt hour, pretty hefty rebate there, $18,000. And that works out as it's calculated as STCs. So STCs are the same rebate they have with solar. So it's 9.3 STCs per kilowatt hour, and times that by 38. So yeah, you get to 350. Now, the rebate is going to reduce every year. So not only is that, from my perspective, a risk that they're going to run out of money at some point. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll add more money. But they have scheduled the rebate to reduce every year. So like I said, $350 per kilowatt now is going to reduce to $320 per kilowatt in 2026. And then $280 per kilowatt in 2027. $150 per kilowatt 2028. 2029 not confirmed yet, but I imagine it's going to be very low, and by 2030 the scheme is going to be done. So hopefully we'll have 1 million batteries in the field, but yeah, they're going to be reducing the cost. So I think maybe they're banking on the cost of batteries reducing over time, which I don't know whether that's going to happen. The cost of these things have fluctuated a lot in the last few years, ever since COVID. There's been a lot of issues, and you never really know what the pricing of these things is going to be. Like, we've seen periods of time where the price of batteries has gone up significantly. Tesla Powerwall had a period where that got a lot more expensive, went up by about $4,000, and I remember one Tesla Powerwall was selling for about $18,000 for a Powerwall 2, and then it dropped right down to 15-ish. So yeah, price can fluctuate, but I think it's going to be pretty steady for now. So who's eligible? So whoever is eligible for this rebate is basically anyone. So it's not means tested. Now that's one thing that everyone asks, because the SolarVic rebate that they were doing before, or the SolarVic loan, was means tested off a household income of whoever's on the council rates, up to 180,000, and then they increased it to 210,000. So if two people were working, often they didn't get it. They went over the 180. So, but that doesn't really matter now, because this rebate is not means tested. So anyone can get it. Anyone who's already got a solar system at their house, anything between 5 to 50 kilowatt hours of storage. The battery has to be VPP compatible. So all that really means is that it could connect to a VPP, but you don't have to. So yeah, all of the batteries that we have, Tesla, Sig Energy, Anchor, SolarEdge, they're all VPP compatible. They're all eligible. So we've got about 8 or 9 of the top batteries around here for people that are here. So Sungrow, you can get any of those batteries are eligible. So the other reason why I think people should consider acting soon is this is my electricity bill from my house. So I'll give you a real world example. But about 2 weeks ago, I got this email from OVO, who I'm with, who I might move from. But my feed-in rate has reduced from 0.03 to 0.0004. So basically nothing. So they got told they're not allowed to reduce the feed-in to 0.0, but so they just increased it just a tiny bit. So as you can see, and it doesn't matter how much I feed into the grid, it's basically impossible for me to make money off feeding power back to the grid now. So that's one of the reasons why I think you want to consider getting a battery now. People that have big solar systems, 6, 10, 12 kilowatts they're feeding back to the grid, you're basically wasting your energy sending it back to them, or you're giving it back to them for free. So there's not really any point doing that. The other reasons, obviously, like I said before, the rebate is reducing in 2026. Energy prices always increasing, and the other thing to think about is increased demand in the house due to electrification. Now, that's one thing a lot of people don't realise is they swap their gas cooktop over to induction cooktop. They swap their hot water over to a heat pump. All these things, although they are efficient, is they do increase the load in the house. And when they increase the load in the house, obviously they increase the bill. So that means you need more energy to deal with all these electrification things. Gas heating as well. We're doing a lot of that, ripping out gas heating and replacing it with reverse cycle. So that's massively increases people's electricity consumption. And that often happens at night too. So it's good to have a battery to cover that. Another example, so do they really work? This is an interesting one. So this is my house again. So just to give you a breakdown, I got 13 kilowatts of sun power solar panels. I've got a SolarEdge inverter, so Doug from SolarEdge talking later, and a Tesla battery. So these are both the guys that are talking tonight, funny enough. I've paired SolarEdge and Tesla together with a Tesla wall connector. We charge one EV at home, double story with 2 reverse cycle air conditioners on each level. And our last bill for the last year, we've been in credit. So we've been $917 in credit because we've got a solar and a battery. Partly because this was an off-peak EV charging plan. So I was able to charge my electric car for 6 cents overnight. And we were feeding some power back to the grid, which we got a credit for, but it's looking like that's not going to happen anymore. So we did manage to get into a credit, but now I'm thinking I'm going to have to change to something like Amber. So energy trading with Amber is going to be a more profitable way to do it moving forwards. We've actually got a podcast and a workshop we did with Amber on YouTube. So if anyone wants to learn about Amber, you can look at our YouTube channel and see that as well. But yeah, it is possible to get your bill down to nothing or even in a credit. So the key things you want to consider when you're looking at a battery, one of the things you want to look at is the capacity of the battery, kilowatt hour storage. Everyone always digs at me when I get kilowatt and kilowatt hour confused. It's not that I get it confused, it's just that I'm lazy and I say kilowatt instead of kilowatt hour. But the kilowatt hours is how much capacity that battery has. And then the power output is the kilowatts, is how fast it can get that power out of the battery. So, Powerwall 2, I would say would be 13.5 kilowatts and then 5 kilowatts output. But then a Powerwall 3 can do 11 kilowatts output. So basically, same amount of fuel in the car, but can drive twice as fast. So that's something that you really want to consider. Lifespan and warranty, how many cycles is included in the warranty period? How long is the warranty period? This is something you really want to look for, or you really want to check when you're looking for a battery. Make sure it comes with at least a 10-year warranty. Some come with more, but they come with less features. That is their selling point, that they give more warranty. I don't know if that's the best. The other thing to consider is the compatibility of the battery to the system that you've got. So who here's already got solar? You guys don't have solar yet? No solar? Okay. So there's different types of systems. So there's AC coupled battery. So if you've already got a solar inverter like a SunGrow or a Fronius, then you can AC couple a battery to that. But if you don't have solar already, then you can get something like a SIG Energy, SolarEdge, or Tesla, and these have the inverter built in. So this is a hybrid battery. So a hybrid battery, you can run solar directly into it, whereas an AC coupled battery, you can couple it to an existing system. So you want to consider whether you're going to need an AC coupled battery or a DC coupled battery for generally a new install. But we can run you through that. We can have a look at your system and have a look at what's on your roof and then work out what battery is going to be right. So yeah, here's a diagram on AC coupling. So yeah, existing solar inverter could have been installed 5-6 years ago. Solar goes into there, goes to the switchboard, and then the battery's on the other side of the switchboard. It just works on the AC side. There is a bit of losses because the power's coming here as DC, goes to AC, goes into the battery, and then charges as DC and then comes back out to AC. So it's usually 10% losses. So that's where DC is more efficient, but AC is more flexible for installation. So sometimes it's easier just to cop that little bit of losses for the flexibility to add on to an existing system. So here's an example of a DC coupled battery. So you can see the switchboard or the loads. This would be the loads with backup interface to install, but the loads are here. So switchboard's here. AC just goes into the inverter, and then the battery is on this side. So the battery will just go from DC into the inverter and back. So it won't convert. It won't double convert. It only converts once. And then this doesn't really show it actually, but the solar would be up here. So solar is going directly into the inverter to the battery and then back out. So The other thing, usable capacity, you just want to check what the depth of discharge is, how much usable capacity you have in that battery. One thing that I really like, all the batteries that we offer are really good, but it's important to consider the user experience, to ask if you are going to get one, if you can see the app before you get it, because some of the apps are better than others. This is a Tesla app, so you really want to consider the user experience you're going to get, because this is what you're going to be looking at. This is the end result. You're not going to stand out there looking at your battery. You're going to be there during the day or at night looking at your phone, checking the usage and the data, maybe on your computer, but usually on your phone. So it's important to understand the user experience. Support, a big one to consider. Big companies like, say, Tesla, even SolarEdge as well, I can vouch for, have really good support. Some newer companies to the market that haven't been in Australia that long, maybe they don't have as much local support. So that's something just to research around people that are newer to the market, how much support they actually offer, or what their customer support is like. Because if it does stop working, you could be waiting 4 to 6 weeks to have someone come out, or you could have someone come out, you're waiting for a replacement inverter or battery, and your system's down. You're losing money the whole time the system's down. So you want something with really good support. One of the last things I put here to consider before we hand it over is switchboard upgrades. This is a big one. With the electrification movement, people are just pumping unbelievable amounts of power through their switchboards that the switchboards have just never seen before. They weren't made for. Something maybe for this, I don't know, this would be maybe 40 or 50 years old. But if we see a switchboard like this, previously, a couple of years ago, we might have entertained slapping a breaker on like this, but now we don't even bother considering it because it's just too dangerous. Because we know when you install a gateway and you're charging an electric car and you're running an aircon at the same time, you're often pulling 50 or 60 amps. And it's just that continuous load burns things out, and sometimes the breakers don't even catch it as well. So make sure your switchboard looks some variation of this with new RCBOs, hopefully Type A RCBOs. We can upgrade the board if we need to, because this is really the hub for your whole house. So you want to make sure that your switchboard is modern enough. So this was just from Solar Quotes. We love Solar Quotes. Shout out to them. But this was the batteries that they recommend, just to give you an idea of what's in the field. It's interesting that they've put SIG Energy down here, which is SIG Energy are bragging about having 30% market share, and it's actually our best battery, our best selling battery at the moment. But you can see up here right at the premium end, they've got Enphase, SolarEdge, Tesla, and I think it's probably more to the fact that these guys have been around a long time. So these guys really know what they're doing. And SIG Energy and Sungrow are newer to the market. I think they'll do well. I think within a couple of years they'll probably be up here, but it's maybe just a little bit early to say they're at the premium end, but they are definitely at a bit more of the more affordable end. So these are worth considering too. And there's other batteries as well that didn't even make this chart. So if you didn't see it on here, I mean, the only one I can think of is that's good is Anchor, because they're very new. I think they came out after this chart was done. We worked with Anchor, so. This was a comparison I did. Now, I'm not going to bore you with this, but I just did this as a laugh. But I asked ChatGPT to compare these batteries, and something that I recommend you guys do as well. If you are interested in Tesla and Sungrow, ask ChatGPT to do a chart comparison between them, and ChatGPT will do this for you, and it can really make it easy if you want to decide, so you can work out the benefits of each one. Compare SolarEdge to Tesla, Enphase, whatever you want to do. And the other thing that I wanted to mention was that the way that the rebate works, sometimes the batteries actually get cheaper as you get bigger. So the reason that is because actually over here, so you guys on the webinar might struggle to see it, but if we install one Tesla Powerwall, we install one gateway first. A lot of the cost is actually in this gateway and wiring the gateway, and then we put another battery on below it. Now, if we add 2, 3, 4 batteries with a stack kit, like these are DC expansion packs. In this case, these expansion packs don't have an inverter in, and they don't need another gateway. So the second battery, third battery, fourth battery are considerably cheaper than the first. And because the rebate is per kilowatt, sometimes it really makes sense to get a couple extra modules, whether it be SIG Energy or Tesla, to really stack up your battery system and go for a big battery the first time. Because the other reason is you can only claim the battery rebate once. So if you install this one battery, you're going to get $5,000. If you come back a month later, you get nothing when you install these ones. But if you install all these 4 batteries at once, it's one system, so you get 4 times $5,000. So you get $20,000 rebate to install this full stack, for example, or $10,000 just to install 2. So it definitely is worth considering if you need to go bigger the first time around. That was just the basics I wanted to go over. So I'm going to hand it over to Feroz from Tesla. We'll just swap it over now, and he's going to tell you about the Tesla product.
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Luke, for inviting us for this event. It's a really good workshop event and as well as webinar as well. Let me introduce myself. My name is Feroz from Tesla. I'm an account manager for Victorian, Tasmania. I came here along with Harry, one of my colleagues. He looks after mainly the distribution channels, he's account manager for distribution network. Before I start, my presentation, I just start with this video. Before we get into the things, I want to start with the reason why we are here. At Tesla, that is our mission, accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. It guided every decisions we have made since we launched our energy business 10 years back. Sustainable energy future is no longer a distant goal. It is within our reach. So let me talk about the factors driving electrification. We can see, electricity vehicle uptake. If you go back 5 years back, very few people have got electric vehicle. But now you can see around 10% of new car sales is with electric vehicle. Increasing PV system size. I remember my time, 10, 12 years back. I'm in this industry for 15 years now. Those days, 1.5 kilowatt system was average sized system. But if you go 6, 7 years back, it was 6 kilowatt, 6.5 kilowatt. But now everybody is talking about more than 10 kilowatt, 13 kilowatt of solar PV. Electrification of home, we see massive incentive from the government, from all over the state. And that is the reason everybody is going more electric. So everybody is going for electric heating and cooling, electric hot waters and everything. Virtual power plant, mainly 30% of our customers have actually the virtual power plant as well. They're enrolled on that. What do we need? Of course, we need more power and performance, faster scalable install, durability, and end of the day, value of money. Yeah, that is the reason, we have got Powerwall 3 in the market. It has got, this is 4 pillar of Powerwall 3. We have got best performance, so you have got more power. It is just everything inbuilt. Powerwall 3 has got inverter inbuilt. They have got, you can actually get 20 kilowatt of solar PV with this Powerwall 3. And it comes with 13.5 kilowatt hours of battery storage, which is actually sufficient for most of the house nowadays. But demand of a battery storage has gone up. So we have got options expansion pack, which is already launched a couple of months ago. It is easiest to install as well. Installation is a very important part of the system. It is, of course, very expensive as well in this country. So it is very easy to install. You don't need extra box or extra inverter. It is just one box and everything inside. So it is easy to install. You save some money. Time is, of course, very important, and time is money as well. It has got both DC coupled and AC coupled compatibility as well. So you can do both DC coupled and AC coupled. And it has got single apps experience. So even if you use a Tesla car, you just use one apps for everything. Most durable, it performs in all challenging climates. It is also flood rated as well, up to 600 mil, it is flood rated. And it has got comprehensive labor warranty. Labor warranty is very important things to consider. I know, there are so many batteries manufacturers. They cover a part, but they don't cover all labor warranties as well. Best value, end of the day, you get the lowest installation cost and best payback economics. Yeah, I just want to show Tesla warranties. As you can see here, we covered both part and labor, full 10 years. It is unlimited cycle as well. It is important things to consider. Some battery manufacturer has got some fine prints on cycles warranty. And you can see the comparison between us and our competitor. Tesla customers, they have got all these features in that app. You have got virtual power plant, so you guys can enroll in a virtual power plant. So that actually do better payback for your investment. We also have got one of the best backup protection and storm watch as well. So if you have got any storm warning, you will get alerted from our apps. So that is a very good features. You can also charge your car when you're running solar PV, so from your solar. And you can also get time of use options. Powerwall 3 expansions, as Luke mentioned, it is important to go, when you get rebate, you will only get once. So it is very important to maximize the profit of that. That is one of the reasons. If you ask about why we have introduced this product, because energy storage demand is currently high. People, if you see 3 years, 4 years back, I was selling solar and batteries as well. And people used to tell me 13.5 kilowatt hours of Powerwall 2 is a little bit big for me. I don't use that much. I don't need that many storage. So I used to tell them, it is not about what you use now, what is your requirement now. Things will change. You have to think about future, not just for now. And things happen. People now find even 13.5 kilowatt hours of batteries is not enough. So they're looking for larger size battery capacity. But we have got some restrictions. Here in Victoria, I believe everywhere in Australia, with inverter restrictions, you can't go for very large inverter. So that is one of the reasons we have introduced expansion pack. It is three main things to consider here. It has got affordable installation. It means there is no inverter. There is no inbuilt inverter like Powerwall 3. So you save some money as an inverter cost. So there is no inverter, but you have got full 13.5 kilowatt hours of batteries. Easy scaling, you can add as many as you want, maximum up to 3 Powerwall expansion pack with 1 Tesla Powerwall 3. So say if you need 27 kilowatt hours of batteries, you just add 1 extra expansion pack. If you need more than that, you just add on. And it's very simple to add on. I will show you in the next slide, but it is just plug-in type of thing. So you really don't need any labors or very minimal labors component in that. Simplified approval, of course, you don't need any approval for that. You can add on anytime you want. Sometimes it is very painful to chase with your distribution network about approvals. So you don't need any approvals to add expansion pack. If you see two-case scenario here, I have put two-case scenario here, one with the installing Powerwall 3 and another one installing Powerwall 3 expansion. So as you can see, it is very simple to install. Even in both cases, you get, of course, 12-volt wiring, but you don't need any AC power wiring here in expansion pack. So it eliminates the need to run circuits for each battery, and of course, reducing labor cost as well. So mainly you just connect here and you just daisy chain expansion pack. You can install expansion pack of Powerwall 3 in two ways. One is stackable. So now I'm just talking about stackable. So what you can do, mainly you have got ability to stack up to 3 expansion pack behind the Powerwall 3. In some cases, it is very hard to find a lot of space to do side-by-side installation. So it is very easy and handy for those customers. So mainly you can add 3 more, with Powerwall 3. But make sure, when you stack, it should be ground mounted. And it also meets all product and compliance safety standard. This is another way of installing expansion pack. So as you can see, you have got Powerwall 3 here and 2 expansion pack. You can daisy chain Powerwall 3 with expansion pack. So it is very, as I mentioned earlier, it is very easy installation process. So you save a lot of labor cost of that. It comes in 3 different sizes. You see, special harnesses. It comes in 3 different sizes. We feel most popular will be just half meter because most of the people, they prefer to keep it as close as possible. But you have got options. Every installation is different. Every installation is custom made. So you have got options to select 2 meters and 4 meters as well. And again, you can add anytime you want. So it is not you have to do once. And another important thing is that you can do both sides. So for example, if you have got Powerwall 3 in the middle, you can do expansion pack on the left and another expansion pack on the right side as well. These are the accessories. As I mentioned, it has got 2 options. You have got wall mount options and expansion stacking kit. So we have not included that in expansion pack. Expansion comes with just a unit, and you have to select what exactly you want. If you want to design your system with wall mount kit, you just go with mount kit options, or otherwise you just select stacking options. It comes with 3 expansion harnesses as well. This is again you have to buy it separately because we don't know your design of your system. So it could be half meter, 2 meters, or 4 meters. Okay, I want to show you how easy and faster installation with Powerwall 3 and expansion. In this 3-case scenario, left one is mainly we are installing 2 Powerwall 3. On the right-hand side top, we will be installing 1 Powerwall 3 with 1 expansion pack. Wall-mounted options, and the third one will be just stacking with 1 Powerwall 3 with expansion pack. And see how quickly you can install that. So that is what it takes, man. Only 45 minutes if you just go with that option. And if you go with Powerwall 3 and expansion pack, that is 28 minutes to install. And the fastest way to install is stackable, which is only 22 minutes. So it saves a lot of time of your installers. And time is, of course, money. So you save some money on installation. This is all about Powerwall 3 expansion technical specification. You get nominal battery energy of 13.5 kilowatt hours. Maximum continuous charge power is currently 5 kilowatt, but we have got plan to make it 8 kilowatt in the future. Mounting options, you have got both floor and wall mount. And stacking capability, as I said, you can go up to 3 Powerwall 3 expansion pack with 1 Powerwall 3. Make sure it should be floor mounted only. Compatibility, it is compatible with only Powerwall 3. So you cannot add this one with any other our previous batteries like Powerwall 2, but it is compatible with only Powerwall 3 at the moment. Connection to Powerwall 3 or Powerwall 3 expansion, just the harness. So 3 different sizes, just the harness. And scalability, as I said, you can get 3 expansion pack with and 1 Powerwall 3. At launch, that is our plan. You can get 4 Powerwall 3 with 3 expansion pack. So that will give you nominal power 44.16 kilowatt AC, and nominal energy will be 94.5 kilowatt hours. But in the future, that is our plan. You can get 4 Powerwall 3 with 12 expansion pack. That will give you around 216 kilowatt hours of energy. But we believe that will be more than enough for most of the houses or even for small commercials. Okay, for customers, we have done some, we actually launched Tesla Wrap, where we have given a little bit more details about how customers are using their power. So that mainly qualifies who are the qualifier for this expansion pack. So you can see the first one is night owl, where people customers use all their electricities, all their storage during the night time. So they are, of course, the good candidate to get expansion pack. Exporter, where customers who export more than 13.5 kilowatt power back to the grid. So they're not maximizing profit because, as Luke mentioned earlier, feed-in tariff is almost negligible now. So it is better to store that excess in battery storage, so you can get extra expansion pack, or use it or sell it at a peak time. Or Sun Cruiser, if a customer is using so much power in their house, they have got EV, so they really need more powers. If they're using more than 37.4 kilowatt hours of energy, they really need one-off expansion pack as well. And the last one is Solar Punk, where customers has got enough roof space to add more solar power. So they can get additional batteries at Tesla Powerwall 3 and expansion pack to maximize the profit here. This case scenario I just want to show, I think Luke has already covered that, but I really want to tell you a little bit about that. You will be getting just 1 rebate per household. So it is very important you utilize that rebate effectively. So if you add expansion pack, that is the difference between pre-rebate and post-rebate. I've just given you an example of our pricing. It is actually MSRP. This is not included installation as well. But you can see the difference here. If you go 1 Powerwall 3 with expansion pack, it will cost you $24,150 pre-rebate. But same configuration, you can get it for $14,150. So technically, you can just get double the batteries for the same price of pre-rebate arrangement. So guys, it is very important to do the right decision. You're only getting a rebate once, so it is important you maximize profit from there. Get larger size battery storage if you can, and yeah, your next batteries expansion pack will be much cheaper. Today, you guys can, of course, do pre-order. It is open for expansion pack. Marketing assets are available on the partner portal. Technical documentation is all published. We are just waiting. In July, August, we are waiting for CC listing. which is currently undergoing technical review. CEC, they take a little bit longer time, but we are very positive it will be very quick. As soon as it is approved, we will let you guys know so you can start installing. That's all from my side, guys. Thank you. Just pass it to Luke.
All right, thank you. Yeah. Like I said, SolarEdge, another great product. I've been working with SolarEdge since, I reckon about 2018. I've been working with SolarEdge. It's a very unique, very different to any other product on the market. Very different architecture. Okay. So I'll let Doug talk about it.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks very much for your time today. I guess it is a wonderful opportunity with the government providing a rebate like this. And as the guys have mentioned, you've only got one or two opportunities to really make the most of this. And I think, my job here is to have a little bit of a chat to you today about why you might consider SolarEdge versus many, many other brands that are in the market. It's a very competitive market, very fragmented. And I guess if we think about why people install solar today and why you'd even hear and thinking about it, is it's primarily to save money. And if I look at, what makes SolarEdge different, is it's the optimizer. Now I'm just going to excuse me, I'll just, it's this little device here. So this is our magic sauce. It's the thing that makes all the difference with how our systems operate. It makes our solution very unique. And ultimately it delivers more energy. And that's what this is all about. And as homes electrify, as we start to really think about how we take advantage of a battery. And the guys have talked about, putting on bigger battery systems, because they're right. We've got one opportunity to take advantage of this rebate, but it's also crucial living in Victoria in particular with days like today with heavy cloud cover, limited sun during the day, is how do you fill it on a daily basis to get the most out of your investment? So, excuse me, so just, I guess, outside of the efficiency, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about how much extra energy you actually get when you optimise a system. But one of the benefits of putting one of those devices on the back of each panel is improved safety. So it's the ability to shut the system down should there be a problem in the battery, in the grid, in the inverter, in the wiring of the home. But also you can see what each individual panel is doing. If you've got a complicated roof, we can put panels on all sorts of different facets, different inclinations, orientations. They could be partially shaded by antenna, trees and clouds. It's another form of shade. And so it allows, I guess, poor performing panels to not impact the performance of the rest of the system. And so this is something that it does day in, day out for the life of the product. Now, the other thing, I guess, that sets us apart is that we have a whole ecosystem which is really designed to maximise the use of your solar energy purely for the benefit of saving energy, saving money. So whether that's filling a battery, charging a car, or being able to intelligently manage and run large appliances like pool pumps, water heaters, air conditioners, whatever it might be, to a schedule that makes sense based on when and how you use energy. And I guess at the cornerstone, the heart of what we have is what we call the home hub inverter. And unlike a lot of our friendly competitors who have different sizes based on the number of panels you have, we have one big inverter. It's a 10 kilowatt inverter. So whether it's 10 panels for a small system or up to 50 panels with a very big system, when you add batteries, one inverter can accommodate all. And it's because we operate on a very different operating principle to many other systems. And I won't go into the details here, but the home hub inverter has inbuilt metering, it's backup capable when you connect a battery and a backup interface, but also it'll talk with our EV charger, and you can also control devices through little relays with our app. I think the other thing that makes us very different to a lot of the other competitors in the Australian market is we're a US parent company with production all around the world. But we're also shifting all of our production to the United States. So this is underway as we speak. So at the moment, all of our product comes out of Vietnam, where many of our competitors, it's China or other countries. So it's something that, if that's important to you, it's a difference that we have. And we'll start to see the US-made product come in around September this year. Now let's look at the battery. I guess this is what we're here for. It's one of the key elements. But I guess where the inverter is the brain of the system, this is where the rebate now sits. We have a battery that holds 10 units of energy, 10 kilowatt hours, but we can connect up to 3 per inverter, up to 30 kilowatt hours, so it's a lot. Now, I think one of the other key elements that makes our battery really attractive to you, it has an unlimited cycle warranty. And the guys have talked about VPPs or virtual power plants. So if you think about how you use energy, the sun comes across, the clouds come across, maybe the solar output drops, your battery kicks in to support the solar panels. And that might happen day in, day out, and all through the day. But say you've joined a VPP and it makes sense, or there's an event in the grid and they might take some of your energy out of your battery, you get rewarded for it. But I guess our system allows for that another cycle to run to recharge it for the nighttime use. And we don't penalise or restrict how that battery is used. It's designed for rapid cycling, day in, day out, over 10 years. We're integrated with many of the largest VPPs that are available in the market today, including Amber and others. And I'm going to talk about safety in a minute. I'm going to come to this because it's often overlooked. We see a lot of battery fires on the news. Thankfully, they're not home batteries. You know, they are, and what we see with cars and home batteries, they're made to a very different standard. But ours in particular is particularly safe. We also have very high efficiency. Now, the guys have talked a little bit about AC and DC coupling, and it's true. You know, there are some significant advantages of why you would choose one over the other. Luke, as you mentioned, AC is particularly good if you've got an existing solar system. Unless a SolarEdge, you can just add one of our batteries. But it does allow you to connect another battery quite quickly. But you might have a couple of different providers, manufacturer X, manufacturer Y. But I guess one of the things is you do lose energy. And if you're comparing, say, something running at around 93.5% efficient from roof to the switchboard versus something in the low 80s, then it mightn't sound a lot, 10%, but what does that mean? You know, it's actually about 20 to 30 days of battery use that you've lost by going an AC coupled route versus DC coupled. So there are some considerations to think about, and particularly if you have older systems that have maybe been installed with older 250 watt panels or smaller, it might actually make sense to start again, scrap the old system completely and install brand new panels, because the same size as we see on the wall here today, where they might have been 200, 250 watts, they're now 465, 475. So double the power for the same area on your roof. It's a great time to think about redoing the whole system. Okay, and finally, the guys talked about weather guard and manual control. These are critical elements for managing your battery, and I guess we have similar features. The default is designed to intelligently use energy for maximising savings at all opportunity, but also we can have time of use control, we can set backup reserves for weather events and so forth. Now let's look about safety. Often in a battery sales discussion, you'll get talked about chemistry. Is it LFP? Is it NMC? And these are the acronyms for some of the different chemistries in the market. That's a very simplistic argument. Many of the fires you see on the news with scooters or whatever they might be, they're often LFP, but it's how the battery charging is controlled. It's what are the protection mechanisms, whether it's mechanical, electrical, temperature, there's a lot that goes into it. And I guess SolarEdge, with its ability to control output of the panels, because we have an optimiser connected to each one, or whether it's also we control how the battery is operating, and with the way it's constructed and the way the thermal sensors and everything that it has, is that it's arguably one of the safest, if not the safest battery in the market. And the proof behind this is the UL 9540A standard. It's one out of the United States, and what it does is it looks at the propensity for a lithium battery cell to go into thermal runaway, and whether that will then spread and make other cells go into thermal runaway, which are the fires that you see sometimes on the news. So ours is designed to prevent that as best as we possibly can. And at this point, it passes that standard at the highest level. Now, I guess just talking about our architecture, for those of you already with SolarEdge systems or considering SolarEdge for your own home, one of the beauties that we have is the ability to expand the system over time. So you might start off with a 10 kilowatt inverter and maybe 7 or 8 kilowatts worth of panels, but you might decide to come and add a battery or 2 batteries later. We can also add extra panels at that time. And that is not a function or a feature that you commonly get with normal inverters. In fact, you can't do that. You need to start again unless you do that within the first year. And that's because panel power class evolves so quickly. And I guess the other thing that we can do is add other components like EV chargers and other little devices that just gives you a bit more sophistication with when and how you use your energy. And these are all the features that you get with SolarEdge. So you can start big right from the start, or you can start small and build over the time. We don't mind. And for those of you already with a SolarEdge inverter on your wall, then happy days. There's lots of upgrade options that the guys can talk to you about. Just a quick thing on the app. I've just got on the screen here a URL and a password. So this is our demo systems, and we have 7 or 8 that are on there. And you can see from different levels of solar only, solar with battery, solar with extra panels added for winter charging, all the way through to full device control. So it's a really nice way just to check the options. Quick look at warranties. As I mentioned, 10-year on our battery, unlimited cycles. But inverters 12, optimizers are 25 years to match the warranties of the panels on the roof. So very, very solid warranty structure. And as Luke mentioned, we also have a very big service team in Australia, a bit like the Tesla guys. And, you know, we've been in Australia since 2011, so we've been here a long time, understand the market very well and support our customers as best we can. Okay, now just quickly, this is brand new report. This will be released by the University of New South Wales, and I guess this is a big one for us both locally but also globally. University of New South Wales, for those of you who don't know, are pioneers in photovoltaics or PV cell technology, and they've now started to look at inverters. Now, because we have over 4 million sites monitored worldwide, and all of them have optimizers on panels, is the UNSW has been asking us for telemetry to look at how panels perform over time. And we do that with the Australian regulatory bodies as well to check compliance of systems and how things perform. But one of the things that we did is we started to look at how different panels perform around the world and how an optimised system versus a non-optimised system would perform. And this has been the focus of a large study that they've done. And what we've taken is 470 modules from all around the world at different points of the year, the solstice and the equinox. And it was 6,000 data sets over this time by 469 panels. It's about 3 million data points that they've analysed. And what they found is that an optimised system will generate at least 15% more energy than a standard string inverter. And that is significant. And that's under all conditions. In fact, it's even more. If you look at some of the figures here on the screen, it's up to more than 22% in hot, humid conditions. Or if we look at Melbourne, it's a warm summer Mediterranean, so wet winters, dry summers. 18% with intermittent shading. And with this study was with systems that had panels that could be used with optimizers, but were also suitable for string systems. 27% were partially shaded and 28% were on multiple orientations. So it's seen as a really good analysis. And the sites were taken from United States, UK, France and Australia, so all around the world. And it really is, it's quite significant. And the other one is winter, is a lot higher output in winter. Panels are cooler, but you've got a lot of cloud cover coming over, and cloud actually creates intermittent shade. Now, what often happens in a string system, if there's a poor performing panel, no matter what that cause might be, production variation, it could have aged differently, how it responds to heat versus its neighbours, it could be shade, it could be anything. What happens is a poor performing panel will bring down the performance of the rest of the panels it's electrically connected to. And often that's 10 to 12 at a time. And that's how most systems are installed. And what the optimizer does is it isolates the poor performer, allows it to put out what it can, but allows the rest of them to get on with their job and produce as much as they can. And when you think about this in the terms of a context of a big investment that you're about to make, this is really crucial. It really allows you to get the most out of your system that you can. Now, when we look at this, we did our own analysis, and this is looking at, I guess, a costing engine that we have. So it's based on tariffs around 30 cent per kilowatt hour, 3% CPI, about a 6% feed-in tariff. And we looked at the savings across a year where there was 90% self-consumption, so inverter with battery, all the way down to about 40%, so solar only. And we're looking here at least up to about $1,000 in the first year is what you would save with a SolarEdge system with a comparable size string system. So it's significant. And we saw that slide there from SolarQuote showing that SolarEdge was a premium on price. I mean, we've actually brought our prices down significantly in the last 12 months. But even if there is a bit of a cost premium because of the extra hardware that you're using, it's paid back very, very quickly. And then when we look at some of the extra numbers on here, it's $1,000 in the first year, but this is the one I particularly like, is you get 100% more generation in under 7 years. And it's significant. And again, you think about that return on investment, you know, the spending of your dollars, it's a crucial consideration. You know, there's a very strong tendency here to think about on price and not spend too much, but this is an energy system. You know, this changes your life and the way you use energy, and the savings are off the charts. So there's some really interesting things to think about, and I think the other thing with adding an optimizer to a panel is far greater safety and visibility and understanding of what your system is doing. So I guess, guys, ultimately, you know, SolarEdge helps you make more energy and therefore more savings. And if we think about why you're considering solar in the first place, it is to save money. And I guess, you know, when you're making your considerations and thinking about the options, we hope you consider SolarEdge, and certainly we hope you go with the team at Lightning. They've been a terrific partner of ours, and we thank you for your time today. Thank you.